Hey everybody, it is Caleb with Almond Landscape. Brittany and I are going to be speaking at Launchpreneur Live in Novi, Michigan on November 13th. Our speakers that are with us, Paver Pete, Brian Fullerton, of course, Jeff Joyner, Greg Whitstock, Corey Ballard, and the one and only Keith Kalfas, of course. Fantastic value for the ticket price. It's nothing but the epitome of value. Plus, myself, as a guy that likes to eat, they feed you pretty darn well at this thing too. So we really look forward to seeing you at Launchpreneur Academy. Live event, it's going to be fantastic. Again, November 13th, Novi, Michigan. We will see you folks there.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys. Good morning. Well, guys, have we not been on a freaking crazy hot streak with these Friday takeover shows? Well, if you guys are new to the podcast, the last couple Fridays, we've been having some really great guest speakers and guest podcasters, I should say, that have been doing what we call a Friday takeover of the show. I've told these guys, hey, don't tell me about all your successes. I get it. You're all winning and you're butt kicking. But you know what? I really relate to a lot of the stories where people talk about their failures, their humble beginnings, and you know how they made decisions. What was their thought process, right? How did they overcome? That's the kind of stuff that I love listening to. Well, today we have a continued tradition for the Friday takeover with none other than B&B Lawn Care, Blake Albertson. For real, we got him on the show. Mr. B&B with two beautiful babies and a beautiful wife found some time outside of running his multiple crews to pick up the podcast board, dust it off a little bit, and say, hey, we're going to do a Friday takeover on the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast show. Now, here's the deal. If you guys don't know, B&B and I go back a long ways. He was the go-to guy on YouTube for creating YouTube content at the time. It was him, Top Notch, and Keith Kalfas, about 2015, 2016 timeframe. And B&B had it going on. YouTube Lawn Care was B&B. B&B Lawn Care was YouTube, okay? His Stripe videos, his Stripe game was second to none. By the way, fast forward 5 years, still second to none. He has a little moniker out there, Stripe Nation. If you guys ever use the hashtag on Instagram or follow his other Instagram account, that's where that whole Stripe Nation came from, right? Well, you know, B&B, he's one of those guys where I bugged him for a long time. I said, dude, I'm coming up, man. I got 100 subscribers. Can I get a shout out? Hey, man, can I get a shout out? I got 500 subscribers. Hey, dude, can we ever collab? Can we ever get together? I had 500, then 1,000, and then, 1,500 subscribers. And I could never get a shout out from B&B. He was just so busy and the subscribers were rolling in like crazy. I was just praying one day that I would get a shout out from B&B Lawn Care. Well, any which way, this is actually a pretty funny story. I meet him at GAE Plus Expo. B&B had 8,000 subscribers and your boy had 5,000 subscribers. And I got to meet B&B and I said, dude, I'm your biggest fan. I'm building this YouTube channel thing. Can I get a shout out one day? Can we ever do something? And he said, absolutely, buddy. He goes, one day I'll give you a shout out, right? Well, I think Blake kind of knew that I was ferocious. Okay. I was like, dude, I'm coming for number one. I'm coming to grow this YouTube channel. I'm going to make a splash out there in this world. And I want to review some products. I want to help people grow. Well, it was funny because, I don't know if B&B minds me sharing this story, but we went to 4th Street Live. I think B&B turned 21, 21 minutes before, because he was, God bless you, B&B, he was throwing them back and he was having a good time. He was celebrating like most 21-year-olds do, which in an environment like 4th Street Live is not a very conducive environment because that is party central anyway, right? So any which way, it's about 11:30 at night and B&B is little tipsy. And so we basically, he had tipsy talk back then. And so he puts his arm around me and he goes, hey man, he goes, we're going to do this YouTube thing forever, bro. We're going to be best friends forever. And I said, awesome, bro. Whatever you say. Well, fast forward, I think it was a year later, we ended up going back to GIE 2018 or 2019, whatever it was. And B&B was crushing it. He had 12 or 15,000 subscribers. And I think we passed him at 25, 30,000 subscribers, whatever. It's not a race. It's nothing like that. But it was funny because 12 months later, B&B gets to catch up with me at GIE and we look for each other. We're friends. And he goes, what's up, dude? I go, what up, B&B? He goes, so we just start to catch up for a few minutes and I start, bopping up my camera really quick to record some content when we're at one of the booths. And he leans over and he goes, hey, dude, do you mind if I get a shout out on the YouTube channel and get a couple of people coming my way? I said, absolutely. Here's what I'll do. I'll give you one shout out for every shout out you gave me that first 18 months I I did during my first year and a half doing YouTube, right? So that's been the running joke ever since. B&B, I know he's listening to this. He's laughing hardcore because he's probably like, dang it, what was the odds that the guy that was the most annoying, that would bother me the most, ended up having one of the larger YouTube channels out there in the community, right? So any which way, here's the funny story. I don't hold anything against anybody. I'm not in competition with anybody. I don't hold grudges or anything with anybody. I love everybody equally. All right. So here's the deal. B&B, I'm giving you a shout out on the podcast, right? There you go. You finally got your day in the sun. I'm just having some fun. You're doing us the favor too by helping us with the show, so I can take care of the family. And man, I don't know. We have one baby girl, one little kiddo. I don't know how he and Natalie did it with two. Amen. He's got to have like maids and like servants behind the scene, because I have no idea how he's able to do as much as he's doing with two kids. Liz and I are darn near pulling our hair out with one. So that's the true story right there. So hey, long story short, B&B, thanks for taking time to do today's Friday Takeover show. We super appreciate you. We super appreciate the fun stories you're going to share. I haven't proofed the podcast. I'm going to listen to this real time with you guys and hear what he has to say and some of the fun stories that I'm sure he has behind the scenes. And we just really appreciate his commitment to the show. So either which way, guys, we're going to hear from today's show sponsors. We're going to hear from today's show announcements. So many great things going on behind the scenes. Launchpreneur Academy is coming up like tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? It's a week or two down the road. It's coming here before you know it. You can still get a ticket. The ticket sales are going to go down the Monday, the week of Launchpreneur Academy. So Launchpreneur Academy is November 13th, Saturday. Ticket sales go down that Monday or Tuesday night. We got to get the badges printed off. We got to get all this stuff. Make sure we got registration lists and name badges. Okay. So here's the deal. If you guys want to get your tickets, now's the time to do it. It's your last couple call to actions, if you will, to get your ticket, make the choice, make the decision to get there. We hope to see you guys there. So we're going to hear probably a little bit from Launchpreneur Academy today's episode, and then a couple other announcements that we got from today's show sponsors. All right, guys, stay tuned, strap in. It's going to be a good time. Let's kick it over to Marty, Mr. Producer, and then we're going to hear a little bit more from the Phenom B&B Lawn Care.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to shovel. I don't even have a snowblower. Nobody to plow me. Oh my God, and the neighbors suck. They don't help. Oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Do you want to keep the cash flowing this winter? Head over to LaunchpreneurAcademy.com and check out all of Brian Fullerton's new courses and powerful resources to get you cashing in on that white gold through plowing snow. The snow plowing training course is easy to understand, and you'll learn what it takes to do the job effectively and how to bid, price, and estimate snow plowing for both residential and commercial properties. LaunchpreneurAcademy.com has 3 new resources to take the hassle and guesswork out of securing your snow removal jobs. Plus, there's eye-catching marketing materials that can help you secure new clients quickly. Ready to crush the snow game this year? Visit LaunchpreneurAcademy.com or use the link in the podcast description.
Hey, Blake Albertson here with B&B Lawn Care, coming at you from Kansas City, Missouri. I hope you guys are doing well today. Wanted to thank Brian for having me here on the podcast. I want to talk about a couple things that I would do differently if I could go back in time. They're not really huge failures, but you'll notice that it's just some things that I would have made a different decision on. And one of these that's probably the most impactful in my life right now is actually just a mental block. It really wouldn't have taken too much of a different effort. It would a little bit, but it was my mindset. I wish I would have pushed a little bit harder. And I'll talk about that one right now since we're on that topic. And I wish I would have, so we run like 2 crews right now. I wish I would have, when I was younger and I didn't have a family, didn't have some of these other major responsibilities like children, a marriage, house, the whole thing. As you grow up, you just have these things in your life that, you can't risk like you can when you're 17, 18, 19, 20 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I wish I would have pushed to 3 crews. And that might look different for you guys. Like if you've ever went through that, maybe you have 3 crews. You wish you would have went to 6 just to see what it was like. See if you liked it. See if you could make money at that stage when everything wasn't so serious, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So that was my number is I wish I would have pushed to that 3 crews when I was 19 and I didn't have a house, like my life wouldn't have changed that much if I would have failed in that, like it would now. Like I can't risk my family or my house, right now. It's just not possible. And I'm not saying necessarily that I can't do that, but I can't do it right now. Like these things might take a few years to get to because I have to move a little bit slower, now that I have some other responsibilities. This kind of leads into the same sort of mindset of maybe not having some of the luxuries right in the moment when I was super young, and maybe making some of these, air quotes, investments. And investments come in all shapes and sizes. You can invest in your business, the stocks, real estate, things like that. And this was actually, I purchased my first home, the house I live in right now, when I was 21. I think I just was turning 22 when we closed on the house. And I had a mentor of mine when I was probably 19, 20, give me this kind of formula, if you will. And if you're in that age range, maybe 17, 18, 19, 20, you don't have a significant other, kids, nothing. I really, really suggest what I'm about to tell you. This is golden. If I would have done what I'm about to tell you 2-3 years ago, I think I've been in my house 3 years. If I would have done that 3 years ago in today's market, okay, right now, I would have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay, while saving my monthly mortgage / rent. This is a house hack, if you will, okay? And I didn't do it, and I really wish I would have. That's probably one of my biggest do-overs. That is probably the biggest do-over in my life. Okay, so here's the house hack, if you will. Okay, you've been told buy a house, buy a house, buy a house, buy a house, buy a house your whole life, okay? At least that's what I was told, right? So the theory is that this house hack is you look for a fourplex, okay? And if you don't know what that is, it's a duplex, but there's four, okay? There's 4 units in one building, 4 doors basically in one house building. So what you would do is you would live in one of those units and rent out the other 3. Most of the time, there's no cash flow, there's no profit at the end of the month after the mortgage and bills and everything are paid, but you never paid a rent or mortgage, okay? So the other 3 people living in those units paid for the mortgage of the property and all the expenses, and you live rent and mortgage free, you personally. It's incredible, okay? And the mistake I made was I found a house I liked, and I wanted to live in a house. I think it was kind of like, I don't know, maybe I was afraid of other people's opinion. I don't know. I don't know. I could dive deep maybe and try to figure that out, but I think I just didn't want to be looked down on. I own my own business. I didn't go to college, and here I am living in a fourplex, but it was the wrong mindset. You know what I'm saying? Right now, like I said, I could have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, with that one opportunity by literally doing nothing. It was all market changes, stuff you cannot replicate, duplicate, no matter how hard you try. In today's market, you just won't find, everything's inflated right now. The prices of these duplexes, fourplexes, anything investment property wise, dude, it's everybody wants it, right? So, man, yeah, Yeah, that's it. That one hurts. That one hurts. The 3 years, like I could have literally set myself up to be able to purchase any house I want, in just those 3 years. And the whole time I would have been living mortgage free. Okay. Living literally just not paying anything at the end of the month. The other 3 people, it hurts. It hurts, baby. What can you do? But those 2 things, listen, we all have choices that we can make and choices that we do make. And anything really, really serious, okay? I always have to write down multiple times. I want to write down every single scenario and every single projected outcome of that scenario, okay? So like what I would do right now, if I wanted to go from 2 crews to 3 crews, I want to write down as many ways I can do that, as many outcomes that I can see as possible, and then figure out where would I be if I did add another crew, and where am I going to be at the end of this year, and how can we do that? Like there's a lot more that goes into it than just buying a truck and a mower, so the biggest advice that I have for that, like I get a lot of people asking me like, hey, how do you run a crew? The biggest things that I have done, and I wish I would have started from the very, very beginning. I feel like it's almost like something that's said so often that it just flies over your head, where people say you need processes in your business. You need some sort of structure in your business. And you hear that from these humongous companies, and you're like, well, I'm just my little lawn care company here. How am I going to do that? Okay, but the reason that, and hey, I'm knocking on wood here, but my company, like when I'm not out with each truck or trailer, like today, my crew is out mowing, and I didn't have anything to do with it, okay, in the day-to-day today. And the reason is because I have came up with process and systems. There it is. That's the word, systems. You always hear that. But what does that really, really mean? And it's different for every single company. But for me, the biggest thing was whenever I bought the work truck, if you guys follow me on at B&B Lawn Care, the work truck was the turning point in my business. And so from the very beginning, from the very start with the work truck, I said, this truck and the crew in it and the trailer and the mowers, every single day of the week is going to be out mowing, okay? The bread and butter of my business. Because here's what the problem I was running into. I was grinding, dude, and literally sun up, sun down, just like all of us do, right? Okay. And I was frustrated because it just seemed like I was running in every direction. Like, Susie's house to go do mulch. And then I forgot a wheelbarrow. So I had to go back to my house. And then I went back to Susie's house, and they're like, hey, oh, dude, we need another pitchfork. Where's the other pitchfork at? And we're all like, I don't know where the pitchfork is. So we went back to the storage unit, and we went and got the pitchfork. And it was just like, dude, we were just, the money is in these little things, these little 1-hour trips back and forth to get tools and equipment. And it was too much, dude. That's the profit. That's your profit. Okay. So what did I do? The only way I could fix it was to say, hey, every single day, this truck is going to be out mowing. It's got everything it needs. It's got extra oil, blades, trimmer line, spark plugs, whatever we need. It's on that trailer, on that truck. If there's a flat tire, we have a process We have an air compressor on that. We have a the way to fix the flat. Like, hey, every year there's a couple things that are like, hey, now we need a jumper battery box. Okay, so if the truck dies, we have it charged up, ready to go. We jump the truck. You will learn in your business, like, hey, when your employees call you and or come up to you and ask you a question, they don't know what to do. You make a process, you make a system for that. Okay. It's been huge in my business. I still do it to this day. Like, whatever happens, you just figure out the best and fastest way to fix it, and you create a process. Okay. It's been huge in my business. The other thing that I wish I would have done from the very beginning was charge a premium price. And so what do I mean by that? Like, it's almost weird that, like, when you get in this business, you know, you're just told, like, oh, you're the old $25 lawn guy or the $30 lawn guy or whatever the price is now. And you feel like because you don't have a lot of experience and you're a brand new business that you can't charge more than that. Like, you have to get your name out there and blah, blah, blah. But it is weird that, like, you have a different experience with certain customers when you're just at that bottom price. You know, you have a lot more headaches with clients. It's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of, I don't know if that's wrong to say necessarily, but, like, hey, when I started raising my prices, like, a lot of the little, like, hey, can you come do this for, extra, just while you're here, could you, I mean, dude, I hung bird feeders up for clients, all unpaid time, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here. We carried up furniture, and, like, if somebody really needs something, I'll do it. It's fine. But, like, it just doesn't happen a lot anymore. I mean, dude, I was doing, can you pull that weed here? Can you cut that branch real quick here? And of course I think it's going to happen forever, but man, it's been cut in half, cut into a quarter, from what it was when I first started, because people, you know, you give them an inch and they'll take a mile. You know what I'm saying? Like, you do one little extra, and then every single week, I mean, we had a couple ladies, they were awesome people, but man, I did one thing for free and she had a list every time, like, hey, we were there Thursday mornings, and oh my gosh, I saw that front door open and I'm like, oh, what is it today? Hey, could you spray this Roundup here? Can you, I can't get this. I mean, it was, I loved it. Right. And it's all a great story, but in reality, you can't run a business where you're just doing free stuff for every single person. And then you have your crews there and they're standing around for 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here. And it's just, it really cuts into your numbers. It may not seem like it. Customers don't understand. But hey, like, the things that I tell guys to do when they're first starting out their business is focus on really taking care of customers, building your brand as, like, this, you're there to do the job, do it as the best you possibly can, do really good quality work. And that's building your brand. You are building a brand that says, hey, we do great quality work. We're reliable. We'll show up when we say we show up. We're not trying to rip you off, but we are in this business to make money. Okay. You know, whether people think so or not, that's the reason that you're trading your time for money. That's business. That's how it works. Other little things. I mean, I feel like certain days, everybody makes a joke about Mondays, but I mean, there are just days where things just don't go as planned. You know, like, you get a call, I hit this on the side of the house. Meanwhile, the trailer's got a flat tire. It's just like, dude, things just seem to hit you all at once. And that's part of life. And having systems and those kind of things, like I said, it's not anything fancy. It's just, I need a word to say for it to make sense. It's, hey, the tire on the mower is flat, this is exactly what you do. Okay. It's happened to me 50,000 times in my career of lawn care. And this is the way that I know is fastest. Okay. It might look different for everybody, but like, man, I used to have a flat tire and it took half of our day. Like when I was really young in business, like, what do? We just all stand around and maybe, I've waited for my mom, my neighbor to come get the car. We jack up the mower and we bring jacks out and we're trying to get the mower or the tire off and we bring it to the tire shop and bring it back. It's just like, dude, whoa. What can we do to fix it right now and take 5-10 minutes to fix this and move on, and we keep making money the rest of the day? That when you figure out things like that, you're gonna your crews will know exactly what to do. Okay, every single day my crews know exactly what to do. Nobody gets to the shop and just stands around and says, what are we doing today? What am I supposed to do? Nope. It's a repeatable process, and that's how you add crews to your company. When I think I know it would be easier for me to start another crew right now than it would have been years ago. The only reason I say like, hey, I wish I would have just done it years ago and got the headaches over with is because I wouldn't have had all the responsibilities that I have now, with family and just all the other things that come with, being an adult here in this world. So, man, it's those things when you can replicate in your business and teach and show and educate your employees on how the best way to do certain things for your business. That's it. It cuts down on your headaches. Like, dude, this is going to blow somebody's mind. Okay. But you got to understand, I started this business when I was young, and as a business owner, there is like this sense of, and it's not a bad thing. I don't believe, it's bad if you can never acknowledge it and let it go. But there is some sense of like control. Like you just want to do everything yourself because, listen, there's nobody else to help you. Like it's your business. You're pretty much out in the open water by yourself. And so, dude, I used like when I first started, the first year or two, of running another crew, and we were out, 2 crews. One crew was just totally without me. Well, every other day, I'd get a call. Okay. Hey, we're out of gas, boss. All right. Well, everybody load up and I'll meet you at Quick Trip. Let me finish my yard. Let me stop what I'm doing at this landscape job and I'll run up there and we'll just fill up the equipment. Now, I know guys that have a business that have been doing this a while might find that to be ridiculous. But listen, like, to give somebody your, credit cards or access to your bank account, access to your money, or the ability to spend your money is freaky. Okay. It's freaky. And so it just never even crossed my mind for like a year or two. Why not just give my employees a card? Just give them a credit card to buy gas on. Then I never have to quit what I'm doing to fill up the tanks. Okay. So nowadays I don't get called to go to the gas station to fill up the gas tanks. Okay. We have a process. Like, again, it's nothing fancy. It's not that cool as it sounds, but you fill up the gas tanks. We're never driving around on E. Okay. Like that is just a headache that doesn't need to be had. And you come up, like some people say, fill up in the morning. some people say, hey, the morning's too busy with other contractors, and it is. My gosh, it's crazy in the mornings here. We have Quick Trip in Kansas City. So, a lot of my buddies fill up at night when they're done working. Everybody moves a little bit quicker, like they're in the morning. Let's go get coffee. We'll go get a breakfast sandwich, kind of moseying around. Well, when you're done working, you want to fill up a gas tank. You want to go home, so you're not, just walking around aimlessly, getting sandwiches here and, oh, let's get coffee and chitter chat. It's, hey, let's get in and out. Let's fill up the gas tanks. And let's go home. So listen, you got to find what fits best with your business. And that's it. One quote that I had to say with all of this, with, some of my regrets, or I wish I could do overs, by just kind of not leaning in enough and taking that leap of faith, from one of my favorite motivational speakers ever. Rest in peace, Jim Rohn. Okay. You have to go watch this video. It's on YouTube. Okay. And he says, if you think investing is risky, wait until you get the tab for not investing. Okay. Really let that sink in. You think investing's risky. You're always told, of course there's a risk. It could go down instead of up. But if you never do it, wait until the end of your life. Okay. And you get that tab for not investing. You never took that chance. You never allowed the opportunity for growth in your life, business, whatever that is. Like I said, whether that's investing in your business or just pure cash money, baby, just wait until you get that tab. And it continues on to say, if you think having kids is risky, getting married is risky, all these things are risky. You want to know how risky life is? You don't get out alive. That's risky. Now that, come on, dude, if that doesn't hit home, and that's a beautiful way to end this podcast here on Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Hey, don't let life pass you by. And you never took that leap of faith. This is, and I'm speaking to myself, I'm speaking to you guys, we don't want to wake up and we're 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 years old. I hope I wake up at 100. I don't want to say, hey, what would my life have been like if I would have started another crew, started another 2, 3, 4 crews, and grew my business and didn't just stay where I was at comfortably the rest of my life? I don't want that tab, man. I'm lucky that I'm 25 and I've came up with these realizations that, hey, maybe I could have pushed a little bit harder, grew my business a little bit more than I did when I was 19 and 20 years old. Hey, I'm glad I'm only 5 years ahead. Like I said, it's going to take a couple of years to do these things because I have to move a little bit slower. But I don't want to wake up in 30 years and say, hey, why did I never do that? And I don't want you guys to do that either because, man, it's not, I don't want to live with regrets. Okay. And so a lot of these things, the walls didn't come tumbling down, but it's one of those things that sometimes the regrets of if I would have pushed a little bit harder, what would my life be like? I think that sometimes hits a little bit really in the heart. That's a shot right to the heart, man. You can do it. If somebody's doing it, then you can do it too. Okay. So that's the saying. Look up Jim Rohn, guys. He's awesome. I wish I would have been, I wish he'd be alive so I could go see him speak, dude, because I don't know. I've listened to him for years and years and he just always really resonates with me, but man, I love that quote. If you think investing is risky, wait until you get the tab for not investing. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for having me, guys. And catch me on B&B Lawn Care on YouTube, the B&B Lawn Care podcast, and at B&B Lawn Care KC on TikTok and Instagram. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2021 is going to be the biggest and best one yet. Saturday, November 13th in Novi, Michigan. This year's speakers are a who's who of the industry. Greg Woodstock, Corey Ballard, Keith Kalfas, Mark Parker, Caleb and Brittany Almond, Paver Pete, Brian and Liz Fullerton, and Jeff Joyner. Do whatever you have to do to make it. The Lawntrepreneur Academy Live 2021. Tickets will go fast. Get yours today at lawntrepreneur.academy.com.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.